everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving into a question that's probably been on your mind as you plan for retirement.
Sounds interesting. What is it?
Should you pay off your mortgage early?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Lots to consider there.
Exactly. You know, it's funny, you gave us a great article to work with for this deep dive, and I have to admit, the idea of entering retirement completely mortgage-free is pretty tempting.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
With all that extra cash and peace of mind, it sounds pretty great, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone would love to be in that position.
But as always, there's more to the story. Luckily, I have our expert here to help us break it all down. So, what are some of the key things we need to consider when we're thinking about maybe paying off our mortgage early?
Well, I think one of the most fascinating things about this whole situation is the way paying off your mortgage early can create a ripple effect across your finances. You know, it's not just about the mortgage itself.
Okay, so there are broader implications. Yeah, for sure. Let's start with the increased cash flow. So without that monthly payment, you're going to have more breathing room in your budget, obviously.
Right. Makes sense.
Not only could this reduce the need to tap into your retirement savings, but it could actually make those savings last longer.
Okay, so it's not just about having more money in the moment, but potentially stretching your savings further down the road.
Exactly.
That's great. A win-win.
For sure. And it's not just the numbers, right? There's a psychological aspect to this, too.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see that.
That feeling of owning your home outright, no looming mortgage debt hanging over your head, can bring a tremendous sense of relief and financial security. Yeah. Imagine how much more relaxed you'd feel knowing that your housing costs are completely covered, no matter what surprises retirement might throw your way.
Oh, I'm already feeling more zen just thinking about it.
Right.
Okay, and then there's the classic argument for paying off your mortgage early. The one we hear all the time, the interest savings.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I remember looking at my amortization schedule and being shocked by how much I was paying in interest over the life of the loan.
Oh, the numbers can be eye-opening, can't they?
Yeah, it really makes you think.
The article you provided actually uses an example that really drives this home. They talk about a $300,000 mortgage at a 4% interest rate over 30 years, which is a pretty common scenario, and you'd end up paying over $215,000 in interest alone.
Wow. So you're basically paying for the house twice.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah. So paying off early, that's a surefire way to avoid that whole interest trap.
For sure. And it's not just about the money you save either. There's also the impact on your home equity to think about.
Oh, good point. Tell me more about that.
When you pay down your mortgage, you increase the portion of your home that you own outright. This builds equity, which can be a really valuable asset, especially in retirement. It's like you're building wealth in two ways: saving on interest and increasing your stake in your home.
Got it, got it. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on the plus side of paying off the mortgage before retirement.
Yeah, we have.
More cash flow, peace of mind, interest savings, increased equity, and even the potential to make your retirement savings last longer.
Right. Lots of advantages.
It's starting to sound like a no-brainer.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Fair enough. As with any financial decision, I'm guessing there's another side to this coin.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Are there any potential downsides to consider?
There are. It's important to weigh these carefully before making a decision. And one of the biggest potential downsides is the concept of opportunity cost, specifically in terms of lost investment growth opportunities.
Interesting.
If you're using a large chunk of your savings to pay off your mortgage, you might be missing out on potential growth in other investments.
Okay, can we unpack this a bit?
Yeah, sure.
What exactly do we mean by opportunity cost in this context?
It's about understanding that every financial decision comes with trade-offs. Let's say you have $50,000 in extra savings.
Okay, $50,000, got it.
You could use it to pay down your mortgage, which would certainly give you a guaranteed return in the form of interest saved. But you could also invest that $50,000 in a diversified portfolio, with the potential to earn a higher rate of return over time.
Ah, I see, I see. So it's like choosing between a guaranteed return with the mortgage and a potentially higher but less certain return by keeping your money invested.
Exactly.
That's a tough call. How do you know which path is right for you?
Well, it depends on a number of factors, including your risk tolerance, your investment goals, and your overall financial situation. For example, if you're risk-averse and prioritize stability, paying off your mortgage might feel more secure. But if you're comfortable with a bit more risk and have a longer time horizon, investing that money could potentially yield higher returns in the long run.
So there's no one-size-fits-all answer here.
Nope, not at all.
It's about understanding your own financial personality and goals.
Exactly. Now, another potential downside to consider is reduced liquidity. When you tie up a significant portion of your savings in your home, it becomes less readily available if you need cash quickly.
Ah, so it's like trading flexibility for security.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
While owning your home outright can feel very secure, it's important to remember that a house isn't as easily converted into cash as stocks or bonds.
Yeah, that's true. And especially in a retirement when unexpected expenses can pop up,
Exactly.
having access to liquid assets could be crucial.
You might need to cover a major home repair, an unexpected medical bill, or help a loved one in a pinch. Having liquid assets can provide peace of mind and help you navigate those unexpected situations.
That makes sense. Okay, so we've got opportunity cost and reduced liquidity as potential downsides. Anything else?
Yeah, a couple more things. It's important to consider opportunity costs beyond just investment returns. Like the money you're putting towards your mortgage could be used for other financial goals.
Okay, give me an example. What other financial goals are we talking about?
Well, it depends on your priorities. Maybe you've always dreamed of traveling the world in retirement or starting a small business.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Perhaps you want to help your grandchildren with their college education or make a significant charitable donation. Paying off your mortgage early could delay or even prevent you from pursuing those goals.
So it's about taking a holistic view of your finances and making sure your decisions are aligned with your values and long-term aspirations.
Precisely. And let's touch on a couple more potential downsides real quick. There could be tax implications to consider, especially if you're currently benefiting from the mortgage interest deduction.
Oh, yeah, the mortgage interest deduction. Remind me how that works again.
In certain cases, depending on your income and tax bracket, deducting your mortgage interest can significantly reduce your tax burden. So if you pay off your mortgage early, you lose that deduction, which could potentially increase your tax liability.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point. Something to definitely factor into the equation.
Absolutely. And finally, we can't forget about the importance of having a solid emergency fund in retirement. Using a big chunk of your savings to pay off your mortgage could leave you with less of a cushion if those unexpected expenses arise.
So it's about finding that delicate balance between the peace of mind that comes with a paid-off mortgage and the potential risks of having fewer liquid assets available.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's all about finding the right balance for your individual circumstances. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to paying off your mortgage before retirement. It's a very personal decision.
All right, so we've covered the potential advantages and disadvantages of paying off your mortgage before retirement, but how does someone actually figure out what's right for them?
That's where it gets really interesting. There are a number of key factors to consider. We'll dive into those in just a moment.
Sounds good. I'm ready to take notes.
Right.
All right, so we've gone over those advantages and disadvantages, but how do we actually figure out what to do? Like, what are those key factors we should be thinking about when making this decision?
It all kind of starts with looking at your current mortgage.
Okay, so just taking stock of where we're at right now.
Yeah, like what's the interest rate? How many years left on the loan? Those kind of things.
Okay, so interest rate and loan term. Those are our starting points. Why are those so important?
Well, imagine you've got a low interest rate, say, I don't know, below 4%. In a lot of cases, it might make more financial sense to invest your money rather than aggressively paying down that mortgage.
Because you could potentially be earning a higher return on your investments than what that interest rate is.
Exactly. You got to look at the big picture, and consider where your money can work hardest for you. Now, on the flip side, if you have a higher interest rate, let's say 6% or higher, paying off that mortgage sooner could save you a substantial amount in interest payments.
Got it. So it's kind of like a balancing act, weighing those potential returns from investments against the guaranteed savings of eliminating that high interest debt.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Okay, so interest rate, that's a big one. What else should we be thinking about?
Your overall financial goals and your retirement plan.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
This is where it gets really personal. How do you picture your retirement going? Are you planning to travel the world? Pursue expensive hobbies? Downsize to a smaller, more manageable home? All these choices, they're going to impact your financial needs.
Right. It's about aligning your financial decisions with that picture you have of your golden years.
Exactly. And you can't forget about potential healthcare costs. That can be a significant expense in retirement. Having a clear picture of your retirement goals, that'll help you determine how much financial flexibility you'll need and whether paying off your mortgage aligns with that vision.
Right, right. So we've got interest rates, we've got retirement goals. What else?
It's always a good idea to take a look at your current investment returns.
Okay, so how would that play into it?
If your investments are consistently outperforming your mortgage interest rate, it might make more sense to keep your money working for you in the market.
Okay, so hypothetically, let's say my investments are earning like an average of 7% per year,
Okay.
but my mortgage interest rate is only 3.5%. What would you say?
In that case, yeah, it probably makes more sense to prioritize investing. You're earning a higher return on your money in the market than you're paying in interest on your mortgage. You
Mhm.
want to maximize your potential for growth.
Got it. It's like you're getting more bang for your buck by keeping that money invested.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've analyzed that interest rate, we've considered our long-term goals, factored in those current investment returns. Anything else we need to take into account?
You've got to be realistic about your cash flow needs in retirement. Create a detailed budget that includes all your anticipated expenses, housing, healthcare, entertainment, travel, everything, even those little things we tend to overlook. Then you can kind of see how a potential mortgage payment fits into that picture.
Oh, budgeting, it's key, isn't
Oh,
it?
for sure.
I think it's so easy to get caught up in the excitement of retirement planning
It is. It is.
and underestimate how much we'll actually need to maintain our lifestyle.
Absolutely. And while it's not always the most comfortable topic to talk about, it's also important to consider your health and life expectancy.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Different health situations and anticipated lifespans, they can lead to different financial priorities.
Yeah, that's a sensitive subject. But you're right, it's definitely something we need to be mindful of.
Yeah.
If someone has health concerns or a shorter life expectancy, maybe paying off the mortgage and reducing their monthly expenses, that might give them a lot more peace of mind.
Precisely. It's about aligning those financial decisions with your individual circumstances and what matters most to you. And speaking of peace of mind, you can't underestimate the importance of emergency funds and other financial safety nets. Having that cushion of readily available cash is crucial, especially in retirement.
Absolutely. I mean, unexpected expenses are bound to pop up.
Oh, yeah.
Being prepared can make all the difference.
Huge difference. So before you go making any big decisions about your mortgage, just make sure you've got that solid emergency fund in place.
Right, right. Okay, good advice. So, anything else to keep in mind as we're weighing these options?
Well, I do want to emphasize that, paying off your mortgage early, it's not the only path to financial freedom in retirement. There are other strategies to consider.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what are some of those alternative strategies that this article talks about?
Well, one approach that's gaining a lot of popularity is making what they call partial payments.
Okay, partial payments. Got
So instead of trying to pay off your entire mortgage in one go, you could just make additional payments towards the principal each month or year. This can accelerate your payoff timeline and reduce those overall interest costs without tying up all of your available funds.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like a middle ground.
Exactly.
We're still making progress on the mortgage, but maintaining some flexibility.
Right.
What about refinancing? I mean, I've heard that can be helpful too.
Refinancing can be a game changer, especially if you're stuck with one of those high interest rates we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, right.
By refinancing to a lower rate, you could save a significant amount of money over the life of the loan and potentially free up cash flow for other goals.
Refinancing definitely helped us out when we were trying to manage all of our monthly expenses. What about something like a reverse mortgage? I've heard that term, but I'm not really sure how those work.
Reverse mortgages, they're designed for homeowners age 62 and older, and they basically allow you to tap into your home equity without having to sell your home.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like you're accessing the value of your home without having to move.
Exactly. It can be a good way to supplement retirement income or cover those unexpected expenses that pop up.
That makes sense. Are there any downsides to a reverse mortgage?
Well, it's important to note that reverse mortgages do come with their own set of fees and considerations. So you really want to do your research and maybe consult with a financial advisor before making any decisions about that.
Good advice. Any other alternative strategies we should be thinking about?
One more that I think is worth mentioning is what I like to call the hybrid approach. And this kind of involves finding a balance between paying down your mortgage and investing for retirement. You might choose to make some extra payments towards your principal while also contributing to your retirement accounts. It's all about finding that right mix that aligns with your goals and your risk tolerance.
Yeah, I love that, the hybrid approach. So it's not about following a rigid rule book.
Nope.
It's about creating a plan that fits your life.
You've got it. And that really brings us to the key takeaway from all of this. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to this stuff. It's a personal decision that depends on your unique circumstances, your risk tolerance, and your vision for your golden years.
Okay, so how do we wrap up this conversation in a way that leaves our listener feeling empowered to make the best decision for themselves?
I think the most important thing is to encourage them to really define what financial freedom means to them.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. In the context of their ideal retirement, what does that picture look like?
Yeah.
And how does their mortgage fit into that vision?
So it's like figuring out what financial freedom really looks like to you in retirement.
Yeah, it's a journey, right? It's not a destination.
That's true.
Your circumstances might change, your goals might evolve. The financial landscape itself is constantly shifting.
Well, yeah, for sure. It's always changing.
So it's a good idea to revisit your financial plan periodically, kind of reassess those priorities and make adjustments as needed.
Yeah.
It's not about making a single decision and sticking with it no matter what.
Yeah, you got to be flexible.
Exactly. Flexibility and a willingness to adapt, those are key.
I like that.
Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay, shoot.
Instead of just focusing on those numbers, take some time to envision your ideal retirement.
Okay, I like this. Let's get dreamy for a second.
What does financial freedom look like to you? What activities bring you joy? What experiences do you want to have?
Yeah, I love that. It's about connecting those financial decisions to your deepest values and aspirations. It's about creating a retirement that feels rich and fulfilling, not just financially secure.
Precisely. Let that vision be your guide as you make these important decisions about your mortgage and your overall financial future.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. I hope our listeners are feeling more confident and informed about their options.
Yeah, me too.
Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. It's about finding what works best for you.
And if you're still feeling a little uncertain, remember that you don't have to navigate this alone. Reach out to a financial advisor. Connect with other people who are going through similar decisions. Don't be afraid to ask for support. There are resources available to help you make the best choices for your unique circumstances.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We hope you found this exploration helpful and insightful.
Until next time, happy planning.
And remember, the best retirement plan is the one that helps you create a future that truly excites you.